Hi guys, welcome to my next video. I'm Coach Becca. Today you don't need anything, just a mat. We are going to be doing joint strength, mobility, stability, injury prevention work today. So this is a great session to do after a workout or before a workout, depending on how you're feeling and depending on the workout. This might also be a recovery day for you. So this could be just a standalone rest day, rejuvenation type session, or a post-race recovery session. Either way, if you're looking to increase your balance, increase your range of motion, and prevent injuries, this is the session for you. So go ahead and join me today. We're just, again, like I said, just gonna need a mat. Go ahead and come on down to all fours, just taking your time coming down. We're gonna just start with some breathing exercises. I like to do breathing exercises in cat and cow. That way, not only are we getting in touch with the nervous system a bit and checking in with our body, but we're also getting a little bit of spine mobility. So let's just do 5 rounds of cat to cow. So you're just going to look up, forward as you dip that lower back and kind of tilt. If you can picture your pelvis filled with water, kind of tilt your pelvis so the water spills out. And then I just want you to exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, arch the back. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 2 more. Exhale. Just kind of check in with your body. Feel where that breath is settling. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Let's just step forward and give the hip a nice little stretch here. It's easy for the hips to get tight, particularly if you're cycling, seated a lot, driving, sitting at a desk, or just a human being. Your hip flexors tend to get tight. Life tends to pull us forward. So let's just stretch out that hip. So you're just gonna go forward, kneeling. If you've got anything going on with the knees, you might need a pillow there. And then all you're gonna do is just reach overhead, okay? Like so. As you push those hips forward, reach overhead, and that'll stretch out the side there. So we're getting a hip stretch, a little bit of a lat and oblique stretch. Okay, and then we're just gonna take this hand, plant it down, and get a little bit of a rotational stretch now. So you're just gonna reach up. I'll just show you that from the side there too. Still on the same side. Still in that half kneeling lunge. And just breathe into that nice, we're kind of rotated through the spine here and also stretching out the hip. Very good, okay? And let's just do that on the other side. Step forward. Slowly come up. And then reach overhead and just kind of lean to the side. First a lateral stretch, then a rotational stretch. If you've done my workouts before, you know I like to work in all planes of movement, which means up, down, forward, backwards, side to side, and twisting. That way we're working muscles and joints in all directions that you move in everyday life and sport. Bring it on down. Let's do that rotational stretch. And just breathing into that. A lot of times it can be hard to take a deep breath when you're rotated. So just try to deepen that stretch as you deepen your inhale. It's okay if it's just a little uncomfortable, but we never want to push through anything painful. And you're going to be the judge of that today. It's your workout. Okay, go ahead and bring the hands down. Okay, and let's just take a seat. Let's work at the ankles and the knees a little bit. Strengthening these joints and increasing the range of motion is important for not only runners, walking, balancing, doing activities of daily life. For swimmers, it's important for kick flexibility. So really a lot of people can benefit from this. just even if you want to improve your balance. So let's just start. I like to do this one seated to keep all the weight off of the ankle. You could do this in a chair as well if being this far on the ground is unnerving or a little bit stressful to you. And what we're going to do is draw letters of the alphabet, okay? I'm going to lose this mat now, I know it. So I'm just holding my knee because what we don't want to do is start drawing with the knee. See, this would be a movement from the knee. You know, this would be letter A from my knee joint, which we're going to get to next. This would be the letter A from my ankle joint. So you're just holding the knee so that this joint doesn't start. We want to work on this joint. So let's draw the letters A, B, C, D. We're just going to do 60 seconds on each ankle, and then we'll move up to the knees. And we want to get like flexion, extension, rotation, side to side work, and that's why we're doing all these letters. It's just easier than thinking about it. So just draw the letters through the alphabet. You can do uppercase or lowercase. Great one to do with small children too if you have kids that are in sports. It's just kind of a fun little warm-up drill that you can do. Start them young. Okay, so 60 seconds. Let's do the alphabet on each side. Just get through as much of it as you can, capital or lowercase. But here's one thing I want you to do is I want you to exaggerate those letters. Make them really large, really big. Point and flex, rotate around, side to side, up and down. Try not to lose track of my alphabet that I'm on. G, H. Okay, we're about halfway. Let's see if I can get through the whole one. I've never really gotten, actually, I think, through the whole thing. I usually stick to the first few letters, which is still great, but variety is good. Oh. Ten seconds. I'm on S. T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, I did it. Nice job. All right, let's do the other side, huh? All right, draw those letters. Here we go. 60 seconds. Make those letters big. Exaggerate it. Maybe a little bit of movement there for me for my knee. That's okay. So you just get a little bit. We won't be too picky, but really work those ankles. This is the whole point of a joint-based session. We want to strengthen the joints. That's what mobility work will do. "15 seconds. Oh my gosh, I got through it a little bit early. You're still working through that. You still have 3, 2, and 1. Really great. Okay, we'll do a little bit more of an active one before we do cars. I want you to kneel. Go ahead and do this on a pillow or a blanket. We're going to do it with the ankles extended first. We're going to work flexion and extension of the knees. So I'm just going to pretend these are my knee joints because elbows and knees are pretty similar too. You're going to be doing this type of movement at the knees, but your body weight is the lever. So you want to make sure your butt is pinched tight because we don't want like a lazy hip situation happening. And even that your stomach is kind of cinched together. So you're tight here, crossing at the arms. Okay, because we're not doing this, which is also a great exercise. I do that in other capacities. But what we're going to do is hinge. This is like a door hinge, your knee. And you're going to lean back as far as you can. And what this is going to do is it's going to stretch out the muscles, your quads primarily. It's going to stretch out your quads. As your quads lengthen, your hamstrings shorten. And you're going to feel it in all kinds of places. It's really, really tough. It's good strength training exercise. Let's try to do 5. Inhale, anchor the breath, tighten, tighten, tighten as you lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And I'm meaning tightening here and here. Inhale, 2, woo! And I have super, super tight quads from a race I did this weekend. That was like 6 hours, a really, really tough trail, swim, run, race. So I'm super, super tight in the quads. Let's do one more. Whew. Ouchie. Okay, I'll give you a tiny break. But next, we're just going to flex the feet. That way the calves are stimulated slightly differently. It's also a nice stretch for your toes. I have a really like fused toe joint. So anytime I can stretch it, I won't get back as far, but some of you might do better at this. So let's do 5 now with the ankles flexed instead of extended, and just see how that changes the movement for you. You know, your body's much different than mine. So let's just observe. Here we go. Inhale. It shouldn't be all that comfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. If you want to do this near a wall in case you get a little cramp or lose your balance, that's fine. 2 more. Okay, I'm ready to be done with these. And 1 more. All right. I'm just going to spin this chair around and do this next one seated. If you don't have a chair nearby, you can do it on the ground just like the ankle one. I'm just doing this on a whim because it feels like it'll be better. Okay, so sit right on the edge of your chair. We're going to work on the knee joint even more now, because now you've done this, right? And there's all kinds of muscles that help with that: quads, hamstrings, calves. But we're going to work on kind of all the supporting like tendons and fascia and cartilage and also muscles that go through that knee joint. We're going to do what's called a CAR, or a controlled articular rotation. You can do this at basically any joint. My favorite joint though is to do these at the knees and the hips, and sometimes the shoulders. So those are my 3 favorites, we'll say. Go ahead and grab just beneath the knee. What you don't want to do is start doing this movement with the hip where the whole leg is moving. We want to isolate this to the knee now. Inhaling and exhaling with the movement will help with your posture, because slouchy is ouchy. Okay, so hold on just behind the knee here. Okay, what we're going to do is flex at the knee as much as we can. And that's why sitting in a chair can be nice. You might bump the ground if you're on the ground. Okay, so you're going to flex your knee, rotate your foot outward. And by doing that, you might even see it on me. You should see the tibia, this long, like your shin bone essentially, rotating to the side. That's happening at your knee. A lot of people don't realize the knees can do that, okay? So you're flexed at the knee, rotate, and now you're gonna extend. Now, if you've got really tight hamstrings, you might need to lower down here. That's okay. Okay, I can go up here. That's what works for me. I'm gonna rotate through the knee, and then I'm gonna flex again. I'm going to go back the way I came, because now my knee's rotated the other way, right? Or my shin bone is rotated the other way. I'm going to go back up with my toe pointed. I'm going to flex it and pull down. Let's do that again. Foot is flexed, rotated out. I'm going to extend, rotate, and point the toe, come down. Back up. Inhale, exhale. Go again. Inhale. And exhale, bring it back. Inhale, exhale. 1 more time, around and back. You gotta take your time and you gotta watch what you're doing. It's easy to do these really sloppy. Good. And it's kind of cool too, kind of as you stack things, like what you're doing at the ankle kind of impacts what's going on at the knee. This is interconnectedness. This is a synergy and things like that. So let's do this on the other side now. Okay, good posture. Flex that knee as much as you can. Flex the foot, rotate it out, extending the knee. Point, flex. And when you do that, you are rotating again through the knee and the foot. The ankle is going to change. If you need to place one hand here and kind of just note that feeling, if you're doing this, you're like, I'm not getting much out of this, stay in this position here, lower down a little bit, and just do side to side if you need to. You'll feel that rotation through the knee, and that's fine. You know, you want to really, what mobility training does, other than strengthening the joints and help you be more resilient, is it helps you with your body awareness in space, which is incredibly necessary to survive. Okay, let's go around and back 1 more time. I like to do between 3 and 5 cars per side when I do cars. And I like to do cars pretty frequently. Oh, yeah. But you know why people don't like them is because they take a lot of time. So let's leave the chair here for now. Maybe we'll come back to using it, because once something is out, it's on my radar. Okay, come on down to the ground, and I want you to get into this 90-90 position. We're going to do some hip internal, external rotation and some hip rotation. And yeah, try to make our way up to the spine and shoulders. I know this stuff kind of takes a while, especially when I'm chatty Cathy about it, but you want to get into so the knee is at a 90-degree angle here, right in front. And then this part, you do kind of want to walk this knee back quite a bit because you want it to be as like parallel as you can get it to the hip joint. If you really lack a lot of mobility, you might be way up here, especially if you're feeling really tight. So do what you can. Try to get into as much of this as possible, position as possible. If you need to sit on a rolled up towel or pillow, you can do that, or a couch cushion, okay? Now, what we're going to do is lift this knee off the ground for hip, I guess, external rotation, and then we're gonna lift this ankle off the ground, and that's more hip internal rotation, okay? So, and then we'll do just 90-90 rotations in general. So I'm gonna plant my hands here, and I'm gonna lift and lower. Inhale, exhale. Keeping the shoulders over the hips as much as you can. Inhale, exhale. If you want to try to lift the whole leg up, that's a little harder. Lift and lower. I'll try it. I don't know if my hips are quite there yet. Like I said, I had a huge race 3 days ago, and that's why I'm doing this. I know I'm tight. I know I'm lacking mobility. I know my joints need this to heal and to do another training block in front of me. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Now we're going to stay on this side. You're going to press the knee down and lift the heel up. Lift, lower. Lift, lower. So the knee is pushing down. It's amazing how the body works. Oh, that scared me. There's a kayaker out there who's probably like, 2 more. 1 more. Great. Now we're just going to do 1 rotation. We'll do more of these later. Just back and forth like that. Get yourself all set up. 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Get your posture. Lift. Not uncommon for one side to be tighter than another or for you to feel different types of feedback. I don't think I can even lift that leg off the ground. That's how tight that side is. I did take some falls this past weekend, so, you know, there's actual physical muscle damage there too. 1 more. Now we're going to press that knee down, lift that heel up. Again, it's great to anchor yourself and try to keep that posture strong. It's hard because your hips are probably tight, so you're going to want to wiggle around and cheat a little bit. That's just human nature to find the path of least resistance. I always had, when I coached swimmers on deck, I always had breaststrokers do a lot of these types of hip and knee movements to allow maximum propulsion. 1 more. Great. Now, hands go wherever you would like them, but you want to keep your hips rooted into the ground. You want to keep this nice line between the knees and the hips. And we're just going to go rotation side to side. Whew. And that should be almost a little bit like a hurt so good type of situation. Like you should feel some tight spots, some stiff spots. But it should also feel like, oh, that's releasing a little bit of tension and tightness. Good. 1 more on each side. Oh, that does feel good. Good. And I'm just going to stay on this side now. I want you to place your feet shoulder width apart and just a slight bend in the knees. We're going to work in some spine mobility and a little bit of hip extension now. So we're going to extend from the hips. One arm's just going to go straight up into the sky. So we're getting some like some thoracic or T-spine mobility. So you're rotating through your spine, just reaching straight up. As you do kind of an extended glute bridge. So you're getting, this is hip extension here. You're rotating, and we're just going to switch arms every time. Again, you don't twist this hand at all. The twisting happens naturally because this hand stays on the ground. Nice little stability and stretch for this side as well. So let's do 10, 9, 8, 7. It's kind of like an upside down 3-legged tabletop. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Great. All right, so that was for spine. And of course we did cat-cow at the beginning, which is great for spine. And now we're gonna do 90-90 rotations through the shoulder. Okay, so this one's great to do if you're standing up against a wall, okay, but we're working the rotator cuff, rotation through the shoulder. So internal and exit, we wanna rotate on both sides. So rotating back and rotating in. And you might feel more sticky here or here. If you're doing this against a wall, it'll stop you here, but it might help you if you struggle with internal rotation because you'll have like a target here and it'll keep your elbow up in a good spot. You do want to keep it 90 degrees and 90 degrees. So let's do 10. You can have your hand in a blade or a fist. I like to just put a hand here because I'm reminding my body this is the joint I'm working. Let me show you this again from the side. And you should feel a little bit of fatigue through here. We don't want to rush this. Like I said, anyone can do this all day, right? That's why mobility work you do need to be patient with and you need to be intentional with, which is probably why nobody does it. We're in too much of a hurry to do this stuff. Okay, let's do 2 more. They might not be perfect, but I do want you to try to do them as best as you can with what you're working with today. Wonderful. Let that side rest because we will finish with a car for the shoulder. Now we'll go to the other side here. In and out. If you have strong shoulders and you're looking to strengthen, say, your shoulders or maybe your pull in swimming, or you're a weightlifter and you're doing overhead squats or snatches or something like that, you could anchor a band in line here and grab that band and work both directions with an anchored band at the right height as well. I do that in times when my shoulders can handle that load. Today it's not about loading. It's about rejuvenating. Let's do 2 more. Let's do 1 more. Nice job. All right, and last but not least, shoulder cars. So again, we're going through each joint and kind of practicing what that joint can do. Like many people don't really realize your knees can rotate. So then when you go to do something rotational, your body might be caught off guard. It's not been trained in that way. A lot of times it's doing something rotational. So working rotation through the joints, even, your elbow joint, primarily if you're a golfer or a tennis player, right? When you're doing a lot of movement or even a swimmer, we can develop overuse injuries or just injuries that are mitigated just by practicing. And it's almost like I kind of have always envisioned like spraying WD-40 into the joints. Like you're just kind of lubing up those joints, all this, the fluid and the tendons and all that good stuff. So you're doing this with the goal of helping your joints move better in the way that they were supposed to from like the moment you were born before you were injured and chronically fatigued and things like that. So that being said, let's finish out with shoulder cars. Same exact concept as what we did at the knee joint. Okay, except for the knees are a hinge joint and the shoulders are a ball and socket joint like your hips. So they can move a little bit more. They have a few more options to them, right? Shoulders and hips, lots of things happening. So I'm gonna keep my hand in the blade here. We're doing shoulder flexion and extension. We're also doing rotation. And this one is nice to do kind of up against like a wall, like if this was a wall, right? Because it'll really keep you in line when you go into that sticky kind of external rotation point here. Without a wall, it's really easy just to do really lazy, okay? So if you have a wall to do this against, stop and go do it up against a wall. We're not in a rush on this session, okay? Inhale, rotate the palm, which is rotating through the whole arm, right? And then through the shoulder. You're going to come down. Bring the hand, palm back up, around, and down. I can get into trouble. I like to get the spine to help out my shoulders a little bit. So I really try to be disciplined about not twisting my torso on this one. I want my shoulder doing all the work, okay? Sometimes I'll do this holding a like a physio ball or a therapy ball. You can maybe hold like a 1 pound weight. If you've got really mobile shoulders, like say a swimmer, and you're really trying to build a lot of strength in that joint, say you swim backstroke or freestyle, and you really want to work on that single arm, pull, getting strength through there. So if that's you, pause, maybe make that adjustment. If you're really overloaded and fatigued, like recovering from a race, you might not want to do that. You might just want to remind the body that it can move and flex and extend and rotate. Good, let's try that on the other side now. This is our last movement for the day, so if you're getting antsy, me too. We're almost done. And just be intentional about that kind of rotation and reach back, right? I'm sure there's all kinds of fancy names for what we're doing, but simply put, we're raising the arm up. And a lot of people, as we age, this is even a hard movement to do. You'll know this if you've had any rotator cuff issues or strains or stressors. You wouldn't even be able to lift your arm up past your past your shoulder. So this is a really, just even being able to do this part can be a big privilege. And we don't think about that until something like that often happens. So think of this in a form of prehabilitation, meaning we don't want to have to do rehab. So we'd rather do prehabilitation, which means we don't even want to get hurt in the first place. Let's do 2 more of these and then call it a day. And again from the side. Last one. Awesome work. We stuck mostly to joint mobility today because I ran my flap, so we didn't get to do a ton of stability work, so a little bit of false advertising there in my beginning. But catch the next episode. Seems like Wednesday's the day I put these out, so just check back in on Wednesday if you're not subscribed. If you are subscribed, thank you. I don't make any money from YouTube, so if you see ads popping up, it has nothing to do with me. So premium YouTube, you don't have that, but I do get a lot of feedback that ads come up. That doesn't mean I'm making money off of these. That's not the goal. But on my next step just leads me to say subscribe, because eventually the more subscribers you get, the better that you can do. Either way, I'm giving these to my athletes, so it's really not a financial motivation for me. I just want good stuff going out there. But we will start next week, next Wednesday when I post my next one, with a stability-based warm-up. I'll make it up to you because I know I mentioned in the warm-up we do some stability, but here we are almost 30 minutes in, and it's just the joints took up all our focus today. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you move really well and injury-free, and I'll check you back next week here on Wednesday. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon.